The states and federal territories of Malaysia are the principal administrative divisions of Malaysia. Malaysia is a federation of 13 states and 3 federal territories. 11 states and 2 federal territories are located on the Malay Peninsula, collectively called Peninsular Malaysia or West Malaysia. 2 states are on the island of Borneo, and the remaining 1 federal territory consists of islands offshore of Borneo. They are collectively referred to as East Malaysia or Malaysian Borneo. Out of the 13 states in Malaysia, 9 are monarchies. In conjunction with the celebration of Malaysia Day in 2018 under the new Pakatan Harapan to prepare a final report on the 1963 agreement before the 31st of August 2019. The governance of the states is divided between the federal government and the state governments. While the federal territories are directly administered by the federal government, the specific responsibilities of the federal and the state governments are listed in the 9th schedule of the Constitution of Malaysia. Theoretically, any matter not set out in the 9th schedule can be legislated on by the individual states. However, legal scholars generally view this as a pauper's bequest because of the large scope of the matters listed in the 9th schedule. The courts themselves have generally favored a broad interpretation of the language of the 9th schedule, thus limiting the number of possible subjects not covered. The 9th schedule specifically lists the following matters as those that can only be legislated on by the states: land tenure, the Islamic religion, and local government. 9 of the peninsular states, based on historical Malay kingdoms, are known as the Malay states. Each Malay state has a hereditary ruler as titular head of state and an executive chief minister or Menteri Besar as politically responsible head of government. The rulers of Johor, Kedah, Kelantan, Pahang, Perak, Selangor and Terengganu are styled sultans. Negri Sembilan's elective ruler holds the title of Yachung Besar, whereas the ruler of Perlis is titled Raja. The federal head of state, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, and Sabah and Sarawak each have a titular governor appointed by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and an executive chief minister or Ketua Menteri. Sabah and Sarawak have additional powers over their immigration controls as part of the 20-point agreement and 18-point agreement drawn up by respective states when they, together with the Federation of Malaya and Singapore, formed Malaysia. They have separate immigration policies and controls and a unique residency status. Passports are required even for peninsular Malaysians for travelling between either state and peninsular Malaysia, or between the 2 states. However, those who are on social business visits up to 3 months are allowed to produce a MyCard or birth certificate and obtain a special printout form in lieu of a passport. Each state has a unicameral legislature called Dewan Undangan Negeri. Members of DUN are elected from single-member constituencies drawn based on population. The state leader of the majority party in DUN is usually appointed chief minister by the ruler or governor. The term of DUN members is 5 years unless the assembly is dissolved earlier by the ruler or governor on the advice of the chief minister. Usually, DUN of the states in peninsular Malaysia are dissolved in conjunction with the dissolution of the federal parliament, to have state elections running concurrently with the parliamentary election. However, rulers and governors hold discretionary powers in withholding consent to dissolve the DUN. Each state sends 2 senators elected by the DUN to the Dewan Negara, the upper house of the federal parliament. The Parliament of Malaysia is permitted to legislate on issues of land, Islamic religion and local government to provide for a uniform law between different states, or on the request of the state assembly concerned. The law in question must also be passed by the state assembly as well, except in the case of certain land law related subjects. Non-Islamic issues that fall under the purview of the state may also be legislated on at the federal level for the purpose of conforming with Malaysian treaty obligations. Each state is further divided into districts, which are then divided into mukim. In Sabah and Sarawak, districts are grouped into divisions. The 3 federal territories were formed for different purposes. Kuala Lumpur as the national capital, Putrajaya as the administrative center of the federal government, and Labuan serves as an offshore financial center. Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya were carved out of Selangor, while Labuan was ceded by Sabah. The territories fall under the purview of the Ministry of the Federal Territories, and the Parliament of Malaysia legislates on all matters concerning the territories. Each federal territory elects representatives from single-member constituencies drawn based on population to the Dewan Rakyat O.